All right, happy Saturday morning, everybody. We got the final pocket change market report for the month of February. Boy, did this month go by quick. We didn't see any slowing down whatsoever in the coin market, and it shows. It definitely shows throughout the month of February. We got to chronicle a lot of the more minor pocket change finds, a lot of errors and varieties, and that's what we're looking at here. And yeah, we've actually seen a few new trends emerge that are starting to pick up some steam for. I don't know. Maybe there's a new collecting kind of base out there for these particular type of coins, but I wanted to focus on laminations in this video, and we are going to. That's for sure. So what's the big deal with the Pocket Change Market Report? If this is your first time here, these are all coin finds that are strictly from the hunt. You know, whether you're a coin roll hunter or you just like going through that big old jar of coins in your closet, or perhaps you're the type of person that likes to go to coin shows or coin shops and like to cherry pick various types of errors and varieties, this is the place for you. In addition, the Pocket Change Market Report is generally one of those places where you find out how much your coin is raw. There's no need to grade any of these coins, although there's probably a few cherries within this list that people have picked up that they will have every intention of getting them graded. But at the end of the day, save yourself 25, 30 bucks, you know, sell the coin on here, make a nice profit, or just keep the coin, put it in your collection, whatever your flavor is. But people do love searching through those coin rolls and cherry picking at shows, strictly for flipping. And that's okay by me. That's another good way to forward the hobby. It just shows a lot of interest. All right, so we are going to take a look at the last 24 to 48 hours of market activity on eBay. These are going to be up to the minute. All photos are raw, directly from the seller. No juicing required, of course. But, you know, I'll let you guys know what the relevancy of each and every coin, how much they sold for, all that great stuff. All right, first one that we have here. I love starting out with these off-center struck coins. We have a 2000 Philadelphia Lincoln Memorial. This one is struck off-center by, I would say, about 40%-ish, somewhere around there. But the big reason why that this is a coin I love talking about is any post 1982 copper-coated zinc coin, of course, is going to feature a lot of the splitting of the plating on there with the off-center strike. So as soon as you have this exposed zinc, of course, it's more susceptible to corrosion, and a little bit of moisture will take care of that. So you want to make sure that if you are a collector of these newer age errors, I would say broad strike is another one where you get some of that plating split. But anyways, you want to make sure that you store these in a nice dry environment. But this one, really nice high grade coin, sold for $13. Always going to be quite a market as people assemble full date sets of off-center struck coins. And of course, keep in mind, full date, that's really what matters here on this. Here's another good one, albeit a very uncommon date to find out there in the show circuit or wherever you can find one of these online. It's a 69 D Roosevelt dime. This one, however, is struck off center by, I would say, about 50 to 55%, give or take. Again, very difficult coin to find with an off center strike of this type. Some would even go as saying that maybe it's a little bit of a key date for the off-center strike collectors, and I tend to agree. There are a few of earlier 60s and 70s coins that are just really difficult to find with this kind of error. Again, you have a full date and mint mark on here, which is what's important to a lot of collectors that are gunning for these. This one here is sold for $29.95. Really nice looking coin. All right, some of you have probably come across something like this. This is actually one and the same. This is the same nickel right here. So on the obverse of the coin, it looks off-center. It is. It does look off-center. The back is a nice centered hammered strike. So what exactly do they call this phenomenon? Well, it's real simple. They call it misaligned die. And the die that is misaligned in this particular case is going to be the hammer die, which has the obverse design of the coin. But this is really indicative of a full rim and with a misaligned die. If you get some of the design devices on the edge cut off, that's where a lot of the desirability lies with coins of this nature. But this is a really nice example. These show up quite a bit out there in change today. I found my fair share of them. Some pretty minor, some as good as this. This one right here sold for $10.95. So before you throw back those, that nickel or that quarter, and you notice something like this, keep in mind that's like a $10, $20 bill every time you find one. Now we have a candy half dollar. I always have to bring this up there as kind of a reminder that these exist and they are common as dirt. This is a 1982p candy half dollar that has the missing initials reverse. This is the one right here. This is also in the Cherry Picker's Guide, although I don't have the attribution number in front of me. But this thing, ladies and gentlemen, is as good as the silver that you're trying to look for in your change. This one sold for $9.89. So you figure you pay $2 for shipping. You'll probably net out, enough money to buy yourself a 90% candy half dollar. So if you look at it from that perspective, it's definitely worthwhile to look for these. All right, the first piece of currency on the list is going to be a 1988A $1 Federal Reserve note. As you can see, there's a lot of janky things going on this note. Most notably is, in this particular case, I thought it was the third print that's misaligned, but I really believe it's the actual first print, and the sheet was just off, and the cutting was off as well. But you have a lot of misalignment from the first to third print on here, and you're going to see the back here momentarily. That thing is just incredibly funky as well. But yeah, this is a really cool error. Yeah, you have a lot of overlap of the first and third print designs. This one right here, best offer was accepted. Their original ask price was $149.95. Here's the reverse. You can see it's got a great big margin at the bottom. This thing is way off center. For you folks up there north of the border, of course, there are a number of really nice error coins. Now, this one is relatively minor. It's a 1964 Canada penny. This one exhibits a ever so slight rim clip, as you can see right here. And just like the U.S. coins that have the same type of error, you also have a Blakesley effect on this opposite side of the coin, and it shows on both the obverse and the reverse. Again, this is a coin that is worth money. I would say that Canadian error collectors are a very dedicated bunch of folks, and they actually pay up for a lot of nice quality pieces. This one right here sold for $8.45. Not too bad for something that was probably found at change at one point. All right, well, we can't go through a PCMR without at least talking about one notable 1972 doubled die obverse. So here's our first one. This one looks like it came from a BU roll. Really nice high-end full red design, or grade rather. Yeah, this is the date and mint. Philadelphia struck 72s. There are a multitude of various double dies, a lot of them in which are in a Cherry Picker's Guide. This particular example is the FS, let's see, what is it, 108. So it's DDO number 8, highlighted by particularly strong doubling in not only the date, liberty, but also the motto, "In God We Trust." This one is outstanding. It is quite dramatic and quite valuable. This particular coin right here sold for $124.95. Again, high-grade specimens of these particular double dies, it doesn't matter which die type it is extremely valuable. And people are looking for high-grade specimens of these double dies to add to their list. Collection, rather. So if you got these and you got more than you need, keep in mind the market is absolutely at its pinnacle right now. So if you need the extra money and you need a lot of it, this is a good coin to sell if you have it. Now this poor old guy right here is I think it's a 1950, either 57 or 55. The seller had said it's a 57. It might be the case. But this one right here has a nice, just straight clip. Yeah, no frills. The coin is, pretty rough condition. Has a few scrapes right here on the obverse. Some carbon spotting on here. But even still, coins like this has a market. Case in point, this one sold for $25. I would say the $25 is well worth the trade up for this coin, especially if eye appeal is anything to you. All right, so if you haven't done this already, earlier Indian Head Cents, or Indian Head Cents in general, is a great series to cherry pick, especially if you have like a local coin dealer or whatever that has a whole bunch of these, and you just like to search through them. Maybe you want to fill up an album, but a lot of earlier Indian Heads has these pretty phenomenal looking cut die breaks on the reverse. A lot of them are on the reverse, more so than the obverse. But this is a 1863, sorry. This is the thicker planchet Cupro. This is the copper nickel, what they call white cent. But this one right here features that really nice big size cut. This was probably a coin that was cherry picked for about $3-4. I mean, I'll be honest. This was a really cheap pickup at first. But you could turn that $3-4 into this coin that sold for $40.99. That's a really nice amount of profit. And it's a lot of fun. These things are easy to see with the naked eye. So if you walked into a coin shop, you didn't bring, like, say, a magnifier with you, these are easy to spot out in the wild. All right, so here's another 2000s era Lincoln Memorial cent. Honestly, if it was a 2000, I would believe that for sure. But this one here is off-center struck by about 50%. The difference maker is you don't have a full date, so we don't know what that last digit is on there. So because of that, the desirability drops a hair. People want to be able to see a fully recognizable date and mint mark. This particular coin sold for $13.99. Still a little bit of a market out there, so if you got them, again, you probably want to move it, unless you really do like the coin. And try and find something else, maybe with a full date, which is going to be a lot more desirable, and it's going to be easier to sell in the future. All right, so some of you probably haven't seen one of these before, but what this is this is a strip in which all of the blank planchets were punched out of. However, in this particular case, this is a great strip right here that shows just the overlapping of the punches of these planchets, which will eventually become clipped coins, clip errors. So when you have one particular blank planchet that's been punched out of here, and then the machine doesn't quite offset enough to punch out a complete other planchet, you'll get the overlap of where the previous coin was punched, and then those will in turn be a blank planchet with a pretty sizable clip on it. And then these things get struck. Oftentimes the more radical rim clips will get pulled out during the quality control process. But there are a number of them, of course, that goes right through the system. This cool little strip here sold for $164.30. Pretty phenomenal looking example here. Okay, so this is going to be the first coin among a few that we're going to talk about for laminations. All right, just a general observation of this coin. This thing is beat up. And generally, they're not quite desired at this grade state unless you need a hole filler. It's the 1914S. I'll give it that. It's a little bit tougher date. But even without all the lamination peels and stuff on the obverse, this is a coin that would most definitely be in a bulk wheat cent bag. I found quite a few of these earlier, D and S Mint, teens, Lincolns in these bags. And they're just unwanted because, you know, this one right here looks like it was dug out of the ground. There's a lot of corrosion happening. This is a details coin all the way. However, what really sets this one apart and what's really a factor is going to be the lamination error on there. This one, to give you an idea, sold for $20.95, ladies and gentlemen. Again, your trash will be someone else's treasure. And it shows. This is a $20 freaking bill right here that normally is worth about 5 to 10 cents in this particular condition. Once it's detailed like this, you know, a details grade of this type, they're generally worth a lot less, next to nothing, you know. So keep that in mind. If you have a bunch of these and they have problems, they will still sell on the secondary market. 1990 Lincoln Memorial Cent. Now here's a broad strike, and this is another great example of some of the split plating that you'll see on here. Keeping in mind that the copper plating on these Zinken coins is very thin, so it doesn't take a whole lot for it to split, especially around the devices where you get a sharp edge. So that with the exposed zinc, of course, storage is going to be a huge important item when you're, you know, storing these things. I feel like I just repeated myself. But anyways, this one here is sold for $9.99. Nice little broad strike, probably about the size of a nickel at this point. All right, so this is a very big reason why I love going through proof sets is for things like this. This is a 2000S, so it's a relatively recent proof Roosevelt die. Now, as you can see, he's got a great big hole here on his cheek. What that is it's a strike through. Something had fallen onto the planchet, the coin was struck, and then voila, there you go. It looks minor at first glance, but this is a notable type of error, especially on a proof set, especially the newer proof sets where you don't normally see errors. This one sold for $23.95. Really cool coin, and I encourage you guys to look out for things like these. People cherry pick through proof sets all the time for these type of coins, and this is the big reason why. Another popular date among searchers is going to be 1960. Now, however, this is a Philadelphia large date. All right, so keep that in mind. And this particular day of coin, there's a number of various minor double dies that definitely deserves your attention as a roll hunter. This one is, let me see here, double die obverse number 6. All right, and you can see that here. You can see the extra I here and in the N right here. You can see this extra curl coming out here on the G. It's all good stuff. This is actually a perennial favorite of mine. I found a few of these going through BU rolls. This one sold for $17.95. Pretty cool. Good amount of value here, and it's a good way to make some extra money flipping these. All right, 2015 Homestead Quarter. There's a reason why that this one is on the list, of course. It's going to be that double pump handle, the DDR number 4, which is the most popular double die reverse of the Homestead Quarter. Another great example. This one sold for $15.99. Which is a little bit on the cheap side. Someone did pick this up because there's a number of other ones that are being sold for a great deal more money for whatever reason. These are actually quite available if you need them. But paying like $80 to $100 for one is just absurd. But they are worth money. In any condition, you could sell these for $5, $10, $15. All right, check out those 40% 67s because this is a good one. I love finding this one. Okay, 40% silver, of course. This one is the double die reverse FS801. This is in the Cherry Picker's Guide, and it features the doubled stars that goes all the way around the reverse there. Just a really cool variety. Most people don't realize that this one even exists because it's just on the stars. Go figure. This particular coin right here is sold for $22.50. Sell this coin, buy 4.90% silver halves. That's a great kind of trade-off right there. All right, another big one, this time on a 2015 Lincoln Shield Cent. Yeah, check out these Shield Cents. There's all sorts of crazy stuff happening on here, especially 2015. This one, if you don't look at the bottom picture, you can see just a huge crack that goes just about halfway up, bisecting the coin. It doesn't go all the way through, but wow, this thing is impressive. And, there is the other 2015 where the big old die crack goes through the date. Oh, man, that's one of my favorites. But with this one right here, sold for $23.50. And by golly, that is a good deal of money for a coin that is 6 years old. I mean, let's put that into perspective. A coin that you can just pull out of change, you notice a crack. You're like, oh yeah, that's a $20 bill all day long. And sure enough, this one sold for that. Here's another phenomenal die crack, this time on a 1983 Lincoln Memorial. So we're sticking with the copper-coated zinc planchets. You guys probably already see it. There's a crack right here that goes from the memorial roof to the rim. And you got this crack here as well. Actually, I have a close-up of that for you. Get a load of that. Impressive. This one right here is sold for $18.99. The condition is not fantastic. Would you rather use the $18 rather than keeping this one? Unless you really want it. I mean, it's a cool error and all, but there you go. Very subtle things like this is definitely a good flip. Another $20 bill, or another piece of currency, actually. This one, 1977 Federal Reserve note. The front of the note looks rather normal. The third print is slightly offset because you could tell just the green seal is to the right here of that 20. But where all the great stuff is actually on the back. We have a partial front to back offset wet ink transfer. That's a mouthful every single time. But it's partial because it's not a full, complete coverage on there. So this one right here is sold for $75.99. Very, very valuable errors. Okay, so here's another lamination. So, Buffalo nickels, we all know, they've had just an enormous amount of annealing issues back in the day when these things were produced. Laminations were par for the course. They're, probably 25% of the entire run had laminations on it. However, this is a 25D, somewhat a little tougher date. All the laminations are on the reverse on this particular one. By the way, photograph-wise, okay, you want a full picture of the obverse and reverse. Okay, this is all I got on this one. It was good enough for what it was, but technically, for a complete, kind of image factory, full obverse and reverse. Let's see, this one sold for $29.95, a coin that was probably bought at $1 at one point. Sold for 30 times face. Simply amazing. And that's great. That's great to see when coins like this sell for that kind of money. All right, so this seller right here had a full roll of 1948S nickels. It's a BU roll, of course. However, every single coin is going to be a repunched mint mark. In this particular case, this is the RPM number 8. You can just see the secondary S is south of the primary. You can see the extra loops there. 40-piece BU roll sold for $182.95, which puts it at about, $4.60 per coin. I would say this is a great pickup if you're looking to buy as a cherry picking perspective. Buying the full roll and then selling the individual coins for like $10, and then make money that way. But aside from that, this is another pretty nice, rather subtle repunchment mark. Another $1 Federal Reserve note at 77A, and this time we have a gutter fold, which is caused by a slight wrinkle in the sheet as the first print was being printed over. And then when you stretch that paper out, you get a gutter right here. So this is a single gutter, which is okay. People like multiple gutters on the same note. The back is normal. It looks like they stretched out that fold before they printed the second print on there. This one right here is sold for $34.85. Okay, another lamination on a rather common date, and boy, is this thing rough looking. The reverse has a lot of corrosion, a lot of stuff going on here, but you can see that lamination peel right there. So it's a 1936 for starters. Again, common date. Someone say, oh, it's a little bit earlier. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, they sure are. But this one right here, $15.49. I mean, again, it's a trade-off thing. I'm like, laminations grow on trees, I could say. So if you could sell this one for $15, go for it. That is a good payday. And same with this one, 1920, very, very low grade Lincoln wheat cent. This one has a lamination here on the obverse, and it looks like someone actually took the time to flip the lamination up to give it more drama to it, I guess, which is what people do, okay? You don't really want to do that with the risk of actually cracking the lamination off and then losing it forever. However, this one here is sold for $18.75. You guys see the trend? Yeah, I mean, these coins were like $1 to $2 2 years ago, and then now all of a sudden they're $15, $20, $25 a pop. I mean, yeah, people are collecting these. They might be doing like by date, which is a whole challenge right there in itself. All right, so this is a really nice error. It's a 62D with a cut here on the obverse. You can see that big old blob right here at the base of Jefferson's bust. However, the photos, man, this is what happens when you don't clean the lens. Okay, everything, it seems like you're shooting photography through a cloud, or you're shooting it into a hot shower, and you just get a lot of mist. But this one right here, just a really cool error. Again, cut die breaks always have a prominent place in the marketplace, and they always sell for a good deal of money. This one right here sold for $36.30. That's a good deal of money for a coin of this grade. Another cud, this time on a 1988 Lincoln Memorial cent. Please note the condition of the coin is, oh man, it's a vomit style there. But $55 is what this sold for. So keep in mind, we are talking about copper-coated zinc coin with the kind of dirt and corrosion that you see on here. This thing is just going to continually have more issues later on down the road. And it's not even worth cleaning. You don't want to clean coins like this. You got to keep the crust on there. $55, however. Great big huge cut here on the obverse is the big selling point. But yeah, pretty cool error. Too bad it wasn't a higher grade. And then we're going to finish it off with another Indian head cud. Again, this one is the 1895, a little bit later date than the 63 that we saw earlier in the broadcast. But this one has the cud right here. You got little pits and stuff on here. So it's a coin with problems. It's a low ball type grade. But when you can turn around and sell it for $30 off of probably an initial investment of like 50 to 75 cents, I'd say that's a pretty good time right there. So, but that's how you play the game, ladies and gentlemen. You either find it or you cherry pick it and then you sell it on eBay. And it's a lot of fun. You're making $20 here, $10 here, $5 here, $50 there. Man, it all adds up. When you do this and you do it religiously, I mean, you could easily add $500-$600 to your bank account every month. But anyways, it sure was a pleasure doing the PCMR this week for the last one of February. Thank you for a very busy February. But that's going to go ahead and do it. I'm your host, Sean with BlueRidgeSilverhound. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Hit that good old bell for instant notifications. And as always, Coinaholics, we are discovering together, all right? If you're lucky enough to find some of these coin rolls out there or coin boxes, definitely pick them up. People are paying a ton of money for these on the secondary market. But if you're able to just find them, you buy them and you search them and you have fun. All right, take care, guys. I'll see you next time.